Hi, everyone. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see who's going to get on here. Welcome. All right. So this is Wind Down Wednesdays. I'm going to be live Wednesdays at 7. I guess I was 60 seconds early. I'll wait a few minutes for people to jump on before we begin. Just keep checking it here. So the purpose and point of doing this on Wednesdays is to help anyone interested in San Miguel. And I want to share with you, when I can, some local wines, because I love white wine. And I just want to, kind of bring more information to you all. Hi, how are you, Shauna? Can you hear me? I just want to make sure you all can hear me because I'm trying on these little clip-on mics. Hold on. I hope you brought some wine or something to drink. All right. Hi there. Hi, Kenya. Can you hear me? Hola, MSB. Hi. Okay, great. All right. That's all I needed to hear, that you could hear me. Great. So welcome. It's Michelle for Expat Life Mexico. I live in San Miguel de Allende, and I'm starting this live on Wednesday evenings at 7 Central. So wherever you're watching from, you can check the time. This is a great opportunity to ask questions about life in Mexico, talk about San Miguel de Allende. As much as I can tell you about other parts of Mexico, I will. And anything else that you might have some questions about. And I'm going to try to feature a local wine because there are lots of vineyards here, just in case you did not know that. So this is going to be called Wine Down Wednesdays. And today I'm going to pour some. Does anyone else have a drink? Or is it just me? Water, soda. I'm going to pour some from this bottle. So this vineyard, before we get into all the other stuff, it's called La Vista. And I love Sauvignon Blanc. I don't know if you can see that. I think you can see that, La Vista. And this is a Sauvignon Blanc. I went there on Sunday and I've done their wine tours. This vineyard is so, so, so beautiful. We know the managers and the people who run it. I've been there, I think, for 2 or 3 wine tastings and just some other things, parties or whatever. And they do a lot of weddings and special events. But it is just so gorgeous. For those who don't know, the vineyards in San Miguel are so amazing. And I did not know this before I moved here, that they have so many of them. Okay, enjoy your water, Shauna. It's all good. Pour it in a wine glass. Anyway, this vineyard in particular is just gorgeous, especially when the grapes are growing. Hi, Dixie. How are you? Welcome. So when the grapes are in season, like in July, August, it's so green and so lush. But this particular vineyard, so it's called San Jose La Vista. And apparently it's owned by, I believe, a Mexican actress, and her family. I don't know her name. I just found this out a couple days ago because I want to go over and film. Hi, welcome, Global Granny and Sarah. Hi, Sarah. I've been chatting with you a little bit, and Millicent. Yes, so if you have wine, please feel free to jump in and have a drink with me. I'm going to pour some in a minute, but I'm talking about the vineyard, and then we'll jump into San Miguel information. And for those who might be new here, I'm Michelle. I live in San Miguel de Allende. This is my channel, Expat Life Mexico, formerly Afro Expats. We have a guest house here that houses anyone interested in having a soft landing experience in San Miguel de Allende, or just wants to check it out and visit. Hey, Vanessa. Hi, Lorraine. So for anyone that's interested in coming through, we can help you with that. You can contact us at casaelm.com. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you've been here, or if this is your first time and you enjoy it, hit the subscribe button. Feel free to ask me questions in the comments. I'm keeping an eye on it. Hi, Nedra. Okay, so I'm getting all the AKA names. How are you? Nedra stayed with us as well. So did Dixie. Yes, I'm just like really happy to see these faces. So welcome. What time of the year is best to visit? The best time, okay, so a question from Kenya, and then I'm going to pour my wine and then we can jump into it. When's the best time of year to visit the wineries in San Miguel, and which one do you recommend? Okay, so for the longest time, my favorite was Tres Raíces. It was one of the first ones that I went to maybe three and a half to 4 years ago when I first moved here in 2019. And it was really, really beautiful. When I got there, I was just really blown away by the architecture. So a lot of times what happens is maybe a family, a company, or a group of families. In this case, Tres Raíces was a group of families, 3. So Tres Raíces means roots. So those 3 families came together and they created this amazing vineyard. And basically, they have like the wine tour, the cellar, the vineyard itself. 2 years ago, I stayed in the vineyard. They have like amazing, beautiful, I wouldn't even really call them casitas. They're like kind of like little, I guess they're casitas, but very luxury on the vineyard. So they have maybe 6 of them. And you can stay there and just wake up with the grapes. It was really beautiful. They have a restaurant, and then they do the wine tours. I know that every like few, maybe once or 2 or 3 times a year, they have events there as well. With the pandemic, things somewhat slowed down, but that's like one of the ones that was my favorite. And then I've been to San Lucas, and that one is very, very nice. I love they have a Sunday brunch on Sundays with jazz, and it's like all you can eat, but it's very classy, and you're kind of outdoors, and it's just really, really amazing. So that one requires a reservation, just so you know. It's like locked down, because on the vineyard, there's also residential homes, like really like high end. So that's like a place. So if you go there, you need a reservation for the jazz brunch, and anything else you want to go there for, if you want to go for a wine tour. So that's another favorite. So I have multiple favorites. And then there's one that's actually right next to where I live. It's called Dos Bujos, which means 2 owls. Yeah, 2 owls. And it's kind of more antique-y, but also very special. It's smaller. It's a much smaller vineyard, but they've had like the vendimia and the high season for like the harvest and the grapes being in season, where you can literally pick grapes from the vine. That happens in I believe it's August and September. So each vineyard has a whole event around the harvesting of the grapes. It's called vendimia. And you can actually go and buy tickets and participate, and they all do it a little differently. So I've been to those, and then I discovered this one. So Hi, welcome, Jackie. Welcome. Hi, Gilda. If I missed anyone, I hope not. Let's see. I don't think so. So this is now my new favorite. It's called San Jose La Vista, and it's just so beautiful. And I think the reason why I'm even more impressed, welcome, Jackie. The reason why I'm even more impressed is because when I went there, the guy who gave us the tour the very first time, he took so much time to explain the process that the wine goes, all the grapes go through. And I mean, like it was about an hour or more. Most of the vineyard tours are about 30 minutes, and then they give you the wine and everything else. Well, he took time to take us through the whole thing. He took us to, hi, Danita. He took us to where they had all the grapes. You know, they let you taste the grapes right off the vine, and they were so, so amazing. They have a chapel there for people who want to get married. I think that's kind of like the bulk of how they make their money as well. I think they have not a hotel, but like if you want to rent out 2 of the houses, I believe each house holds around 25 people or something like this. I haven't seen inside the homes. They have a restaurant with an amazing killer view. So yes, I should have had the link pulled up. I'm going to see if I can find it so I can send it to you in the chat. But it's really beautiful. Hi, Jessica. How are you? Haven't seen you for a minute. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. So this is definitely my new favorite. It's a little bit outside of San Miguel. Actually, they all are. Most of them are at least 20 to 30 minutes outside of Central. So you need a car, or you need someone to drive you there. And they're all uniquely beautiful and different. I've been to San Miguel. There's a place that's actually called, or vineyard called San Miguel Vineyard. And they are, I believe, first or second largest vineyard in Mexico. I wasn't as impressed with the tour. I was pretty impressed with where they store some of the wine because of the way they did the architecture. That's also just kind of like a selling point for me. And why sometimes I get there and I'm like, oh, you know, this is gorgeous. And that was sort of the impression I got when I went to Tres Raíces, because it's just a very open area. You can see mountains in the backdrop, and the restaurant, just the whole design, everything is just so high end and just beautiful. I mean, absolutely mind blowing, out in the middle of nowhere. You will just drive down a dirt road and then suddenly vineyard and, you know, rows and rows of grapes. And it's just really beautiful out there. So with the San Miguel one, that one's on the way to or in Common Fort, which is around another 20 or 30 minutes away from Central. And they carved the bottom level where they store the wine, they carved it out of stone. So you can still see the exposed stone. And I mean, these massive rocks in the side of the wall. And it's just the way they built everything around it. It's really beautiful. So saying all of that, I would suggest, highly suggest that if you're coming to San Miguel and you enjoy wine, someone mentioned tequila. We'll talk a minute about tequila. We won't focus on it tonight. Maybe I'll do tequila shots next time. Who knows? Now I got to stay sober. But they do have like amazing tequila tasting and mezcal tasting places as well. But if you're ever in San Miguel, you know, this is something that I highly recommend doing. Each of them are very unique. There are some that I haven't been to yet. There's also a wine route that you can jump on and have, you know, a couple days worth of vineyard experiences. Speaking of, we actually are offering, I believe, 2. If you want to see that, you can check out Casa ELM events or casaelm.com events, and you can sign up for that later on in the year. I believe we're going to try to do one around the harvesting of the grapes, because it's just really a beautiful experience, and it's nothing like pulling the grapes off the vine and eating them. So if everyone has like some wine or something to drink, I'm gonna try this because I really like Sauvignon Blanc, and I've had this one, and I was there on Sunday and they gave me a bottle. I told them I was going to talk about it. So thank you to Maribel and her husband, who are the managers at this really amazing vineyard. And they basically gave me this, and it gave me something else for next week. We'll talk about that. I think that one's like more of a sparkling wine. So please let me know if you have any questions or anything you really want to hear or know about in San Miguel. You know, like I said, I live here. I've been here for almost 5 years, and we had an influencer weekend a couple weekends ago, which was sponsored by Michelle Watson of Ingenuity, and her stuff was, cheers, Dixie, and her teas are really amazing. I did a video about that, but one of the things that came up with the influencers that came, thank you to Stephanie Perry for showing up for that weekend, Rashida Dow, the Yarbros, Amber Edwards, and basically the welcome, Helen, hi. The one thing that they were suggesting, because we were sort of like, you know, talking about what we could do and for each other, what our opinions were about, you know, what each of us are working on. And they were like, Michelle, you got to do live. So here I am, Wind Down Wednesdays. Not quite a wind down because tomorrow, you know, I have to work, and Friday, but I am here to help anyone who is questioning what and how to live in San Miguel. So, okay, yes. Do you need a car there? That comes up a lot. First of all, I'm going to have a drink. Yeah, I like Sauvignon Blanc. So there you go. Do you need a car? It kind of depends on you. I have a car. When I first moved to San Miguel, I didn't think I needed a car, or I think the idea of being in a certain place in Central just really appealed to me. You know, I really wanted to have like that, get out the front door and everything's right here. For some reason, that just reminded me of, you know, Sex and the City, Manhattan, New York, you know, and I always wanted to live in New York. So the whole idea of just, you know, taking my laptop to a cafe and hanging out for the day while waiting for my son to get out of school, it just sounded so appealing for me to be in Central until reality kicked in, and I realized that I was happy that, one, I wasn't actually in smack dab in Central, and that also getting my kid to school. There are no schools in Central. Well, take that back. The school I needed to get him to was not in Central. And some of the other schools that were of interest were not in Central. So initially, I came here because I was a walker. I really liked walking a lot in Florida, and I had a car in Florida, but I used to walk a lot in the morning for exercise. So I walked a lot. And a lot of people here walk. A lot of people do live in the city. A lot of people really enjoy, you know, just kind of being in San Miguel and in the center, close enough. They take the bus. They walk, they figure it out, because it's a very compact city. It's not a city that's, it's a big city. It's bigger than it seems, but it's also kind of all there. Like it's sort of all there. You know, if you are looking at from one of the lookouts, everything's kind of right there. And then you can see them developing more and more in the distance. If you are a walker and you don't have mobility issues, I think you should totally not get a car. I have a car for different reasons. The first reason is I had to get my kid to school in a jiffy, and you know, we were walking. I was leaving like a half an hour sooner. He complained the whole way. Then I figured out how to take the bus, which was fine at the time. I think it was 7 pesos per person. Don't ask me what that translates to, but it's not a lot. I think it was like 30 cents at the time. I don't remember. And it was easy. There were buses all the time. And we would take the bus, and then I would literally walk from his school to Central, and then I would walk home, and then I would walk to go get him. And then we would take the bus back home. And I would clock probably 7 to 10 miles a day walking. So that just kind of gives you a little bit of perspective. But you don't have to have a car. I think most of the people who move here do not necessarily have cars. And the ones who do have cars live a little bit outside of the city, and that's kind of by choice. I want a car because I get claustrophobic and I want to be outside and I want to do things, and I don't want to rely on someone to take me to Querétaro. I like to explore, so I have a car. So if you want to see stuff, you can still hop on a bus, you can still fly. You can get rides. There are plenty of drivers here that will take you to places. Like if you said, I want to go to Leon for the day because that's the leather capital and I want to go shopping, someone will drive you there for probably, I forget what it is. I want to say it's like about $80 per person to do like a round trip for the day, but they stay with you. They bring you there and, you can hang out and go shopping and come back. If you're not someone who really wants to do a lot or be a lot on the road, you don't have to have, thanks Dixie, 43 cents. Thank you. You don't have to necessarily have a car. But as I said, I do a lot of going to Querétaro, road trips. I've driven to Guanajuato City, which is an hour away. I've seen a lot of different things around. And I like that. I just like that freedom. The idea of road tripping for me means having a car and exploring and seeing things. And yes, you can take the bus. I did that recently. I took the bus for hours on end, and it was like a over 20-hour or something bus ride. Crazy, but it was cool. I got to see a lot of things. So it's kind of up to you, but you don't have to have a car. I do like having the freedom that the car brings me. So yeah. Welcome, FDM. And moving there approximately until out the better the rent. So but yeah, and that is true. So Jackie just said that the farther out you are, the rents are less. They are, but you also have to think about the gas that you're going to drive to get to the city. If you're like someone who's not necessarily leaving their house, maybe if you're retired or you're a digital nomad, and you want to move outside of the city and buy a car, then it's worth it. I live outside of Central by choice. I wanted to just be somewhere where the rent is less. And I was looking at places. So I used to live in La Lejona, which is kind of, to me, the second ring or the first ring. No, the second ring, I would say, outside of the city. So it's not that far, but it's far enough where it depends on where you are in La Lejona, which is still considered San Miguel. It's just one of the colonias. You can still walk. Again, if you have no mobility issues, you can walk. You can be close to the grocery store, both of them, City Market and La Comer. And there's like a fruteria and, little restaurants and things that are very close by. But if you want to be further out, like where I am, I'm on the road to Querétaro. So it's a little bit faster, 15 minutes sooner for me to get to Querétaro, where I go to buy stuff. And I would definitely go there to get stuff from Costco's. There's an H-E-B, for those who are familiar, that's a store out of Texas. And there's just like different things that I like to have the convenience. So for me, living outside of the city meant getting lesser rent. However, I do put a lot of gas in my car because I have to drive pretty much almost every day of the week to the city to get my kid. If you don't have a kid and you don't have to leave your house, then yeah, save that money. You can save anywhere between, it all depends on what kind of house you're looking for, but you can save, in my case, I'm saving from where I was to where I am, having kind of the same amenities and same size townhouse. I'm saving around $400 a month. So for me, maybe that goes back into gas, but I would be spending gas anyway if I lived in the other place. So just to share. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much, those are the things that I see in the chat. Does anyone else have questions that I can answer, or I can just keep talking about other random things with living here? Feel free to throw it in the chat. I think I saw something from Kenya. Not sure. So that's pretty much the reason for me why I would have a car. It all depends. And if you move to like a bigger city, I really don't think it's necessary unless you live like, again, outside of the city. Same with San Miguel. San Miguel, if you're in those rings and circles, I think it's pretty easy for people to get around. The taxis, in my opinion, are a little bit more expensive than if you even go over to Querétaro. The supply and demand is different over there compared to San Miguel. I see Dixie. Okay, phone service. Okay, there's a lot I can say about the phone service. I feel like that could be a big topic. So I'm gonna say this is I've tried different things, and it is kind of testy. So if you're moving from the US, you still have a US bank account, which I highly recommend you keep a US bank account. You need a US phone number to activate your cards, to have a Zelle, be able to Zelle people. There's different reasons to have a US phone. I had a US phone, and then I got rid of it, and I tried my changing my US cell number to a virtual number, which works for some things, but it doesn't work for the banking part. So I ended up getting a separate cell phone that has a US number, and I use that for banking because it's important that I have it. And also it actually has a dual SIM card, but I just don't use it this way. But I know that the iPhones and maybe some Androids, I don't know anything about Androids, offer this. As far as the plans in Mexico, by far the best experiences I've had so far is Telcel. Telcel is kind of like the main cell provider. Like in the US, there's a lot of competition. Here, I feel like Telcel just kind of covers you in most places. So if you are, somewhere where there's like a dead zone, more than likely you'll get out of it soon enough and your Telcel plan will work. For example, when I moved here to this development, which again, a little outside of town, as soon as I would get to the main entrance, so it's a huge development with multiple developments inside this one giant development. And as soon as I would get to the main entrance, my AT&T Mexico plan stopped. It wouldn't work. And then I would get to my house and forget it. It was like having a Metro PCS. I was standing there like holding up the phone, trying to get service, and nothing worked. And I remember someone came here to do some work, and they were on their phone chit-chatting away. And I was like, who do you have? And they said Telcel. So I ditched all of my AT&T plan. So what I'll tell you really quickly about that is the plan for Telcel is not expensive. I have the highest one you can get, which is $25 a month. And then you can add more data to that, but it's tedious. So, we're so used to, well, I had in the US, and I think a lot of us have unlimited data, unlimited call, unlimited text. They have unlimited, but not unlimited data. So I have unlimited call and texting, but the thing in Mexico is everyone uses WhatsApp. So you have internet and most people use that. So I don't use text messages very often. And the text messages that I get are just like spam things. But the problem with Telcel, if you are not a permanent resident, this is annoying, you have to pay every 30 days. So yes, you can set it up to do automatic payment, like, every 30 days or whatever, but it's really, really annoying. So I'm just sharing that because I have to always remember, oh yeah, let me go pay my Telcel bill. Yes, I could do it probably on my phone or whatever, but I just don't want to give them my credit card. So I physically go there. So it's one of those physical things that will make you a little bit batty. Just sharing, you can keep your US, like I have two plans. I have one in the US and one here. The one in the US is simply for me to have a number over there for my really important things that have to do mostly with banking. And that's kind of my tie to the US right now as far as bills. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers the question. I see a bunch of questions. Let's see. I'm retired but very active. Okay, Jackie. Yeah, there's a lot to do here. If you like to walk, like I said, Central is good. It's a little noisy. Some of the ladies that are already here and in the chat can tell you, but it's a beautiful city. If you live in Central, and you don't mind walking and you're mobility issues, just remember there's lots of cobblestones here, mostly cobblestones. The cars have to deal with it, our feet have to deal with it. It can be a little bit crazy. There's lots of hills, like not a little tiny one, like up hills, but there are also a lot of flat places. There's a lot of outdoor things to do. You can hike on the weekends. There's a botanical garden. There's at least 4 to 6 kilometers worth of hiking, and it's beautiful, like gorgeous. 50 pesos to get in, so you definitely can get out. Let's see, do you work on residency assessment? No, smooth. So Kenya wants to know if I recommend completing residency in SMA. I'm hoping to have this smooth. I don't know about Querétaro, the process in Querétaro, only know about it in San Miguel. And if you hire someone like some of the local specialists to help you, the process is pretty smooth. I can tell you that it used to be smoother because they used to allow appointments. And the last that I heard, which is just as recent as December, because my mom just got her residency in December, and the process was a little bumpy because they used to take appointments. So you would say, okay, my appointment is on November, in her case, it was on for December the 6th. And then suddenly they scrapped all of that and they were like, first come, first serve. So whoever shows up in the morning, and I say the morning, like 1 a.m. in the morning, puts their name on the list, just falls in order of when the office actually opens, which I think is not until 8 or 9. That's how they're serving people. Now, if you hire like one of the specialists, like Sonia Diaz, Jessica, Ian Clements, or any one of these immigration people, they will go and kind of wait. I don't know how. Okay, I only know how Ian does it because this is what he did for my mother. I don't know what the other people do, so I'm not going to speak for them. But for Ian's office, what they did is they went and they told us to come and meet them at 8 in the morning. And it wasn't that bad. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me that they used to take appointments and now they don't. I don't know the reasoning. My best guess is that they, maybe people were making appointments and were not actually here. So, the process is the process, all of it for me feels extremely archaic, but you get through it. Just, be ready to give up at least a full day to 2 full days of, your time here to get that done. And then sometimes they don't have the cards that they print the residency thing on. So sometimes they just don't have them. Even if you do your fingerprint, take the picture, they don't have the cards always in stock. And so then you have to come back. So don't plan for everything to be done today and then you got to leave tomorrow to the United States. Give it a little time, or maybe leave it open and buy your ticket once you actually have the card in hand. So I hope that answered your question. I can't answer about Karencita. Furniture. I'm trying to get through all of these. Thanks for all the questions, lady. But I don't know if I can get through all. Furniture. Oh, I brought my furniture. Most of my furniture I brought from the United States. And yes, you can get furniture here. Yeah, that's a tough one. So I did a video, I think it was last week, shipping versus not shipping. And if you watch that video on my channel, you'll see kind of the process that I did and why I did it. I think that again, I feel like all of these are kind of personal choices. The reason I brought my furniture is because I didn't want to deal with looking for furniture. And I also didn't want to deal with living in a house that didn't feel like my house and my things, because I like to decorate. So it was important to me that the house felt like home and not someone else's home. And I'm sure I could have found a home that, plenty of them actually, that would have felt really amazing, but I also didn't want to pay $2,000 or $3,000 US a month in rent either. So, I thought it was just kind of a one-time deal, bring my things from the US. I downsized a lot down to a 1-bedroom. The first apartment or townhouse rather, we stayed in for 4 years. It was furnished, but there was a lot of stuff in there that I didn't care for, but then there were some things that were useful to me. For example, I didn't want to buy a refrigerator right away. I didn't want to buy a washing machine and dryer, microwave, all these things, because I wasn't sure. I was like, I need at least a year to figure out whether or not I want to stay here long term. So I did a furnished house. Now, if you were going to do something like that, I recommend, from my experience, to probably get a semi-furnished if you can. And when I say semi, meaning you have those appliances, but maybe it's like basic furniture that you can kind of add to it and make it your own. Or if you know for sure, I just love San Miguel. I've been there, or I just love the way it looks. I don't care. I'm all in. And you have really nice things. Just bring it, because I feel like buying new stuff here, it's hard to find the kind of quality I think that we're used to for the prices that we're used to. You can find amazing furniture, but if your budget is not, $10,000 for one amazing piece of furniture, then, maybe you just spend $20,000 and move your stuff, and then you have everything. So it's kind of, hard to give a definitive, I think, in general, but this was my thinking was, I don't want to bring a refrigerator, but I also like my couches. So I brought my couch, I brought my bed, I brought dining room table and different things. Is there anything that I wouldn't have brought? I don't think so. I didn't bring a lot of extra things. I just brought the things that I didn't want to go shopping for in Mexico, because I had already had experience with looking for things. So let's see. How is it driving? Driving in San Miguel, to me, is a piece of cake. And when I say a piece of cake, is because everyone's very courteous. Every intersection is kind of treated as a stop. there are no stop signs. So I don't want that to scare you because they don't have stop signs, but it's just everyone knows that drives, mostly everyone. Every time you get to an intersection, it's the car that got there first that goes. And there are speed bumps everywhere. So you really don't have to worry about like people speeding necessarily. On the weekends, we have different people from different places and the rules are different. So you have to be careful. But here, most of the people will stop at all the pedestrian walkways, anyone crossing the street. You stop and you let them go. It's definitely way more courteous than anywhere that I've ever lived. Except when I was in Switzerland, they stopped for their pedestrians as well. And I was pretty impressed with that. But driving in other parts of Mexico, I've driven in Mexico City. I don't remember it being real crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of aggressive. I feel like it's more aggressive in Querétaro, driving in Querétaro. And then when you're driving outside of the center of the city on like these main roads, yeah, the rules are a little weird. Most of the time you kind of pull over if someone's flying by you and it's still one lane, but they kind of go around. They're supposed to put their signal on that they're going around. If you need to turn left and you're like going this way, you need to turn left and cross the other street. And there's cars like on right behind you. You don't stop and turn left. You got to pull over and let all those cars that are flying by at like 70 miles an hour. It's weird. And then you go when it's clear and safe. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. To me, it's not that hard, but you just have to kind of like pay more attention because it's a little different than what we're used to. Let's see, not really have you thought about revisiting some of the people you passed, like Mimi updates? I haven't. This is from the Real Vicky. Hi, welcome. I haven't thought about, re-interviewing people or revisiting what people are up to, because doing that series, I've thought about interviewing new people, but maybe focusing a little bit more on San Miguel. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm so grateful that so many of you subscribed to my channel and watched. But I haven't really thought about revisiting people that I've already spoken to. Most of the reasons being it was really difficult to get people to commit to doing these interviews. And, back then I had less things going on. Now I have a guest house, I'm running a business. I have my child. It's just a lot. So, to kind of go back and talk to a lot of the really amazing, beautiful people that I got to meet. I just haven't really been able to do that. And I don't know that I will necessarily revisit that, but I would love to interview new people. But that's a good suggestion. I'll definitely keep it in mind. I will definitely keep it in mind since you mentioned it. But I haven't spoken to Mimi. Let's see. Speaking of Carol's, the traffic in Querétaro and traffic. Yeah, like I said, speaking of cars. Yeah, I mean, Querétaro, I don't know. Vanessa can answer more about that. She doesn't drive, but I know she lives there. And I think, I don't know, I don't mind driving. I can be aggressive when I need to. My Tourette's kicks in. So I have no problems running someone off the road if they try to run me off the road. So I'm just saying, I've literally driven commercial vehicles. I used to drive a bus way back when I was in college, believe it or not. And so I don't know if I'm the best person to ask about being afraid to drive, because the answer is no. I'm cool with driving, even driving long distances in Mexico. I am cool with that as well. Because I couldn't find an affordable small. Oh, Tess. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I don't know what your price range was. Okay, you said 10 to 12. Yeah, and this is okay. So I want to address this a little bit, because I know people in Central that are paying less than what you listed. However, is it your style? Is it what you're looking for? That depends on you, right? I'm a little bit more particular. I like modern. I didn't want to do a lot of work after living where I used to live, which didn't require a lot of work. But when I moved in, and this is my first place where I used to be, it was called El Secreto, and a beautiful development. I don't remember the year it was built. And I loved the townhouse. It was really lovely, great views, nice amenities, blah, blah, blah. But when I got there, it needed to be painted. So I had to paint because it was going to bother me if I didn't. They had like some faux painted walls that were green. I don't like green. I like green outside, but I don't want a green wall. Just, personal preferences. So I had someone come in before my things arrived, painted the entire thing, took down like chandeliers, put up ceiling fans, and just things that I wanted. And I knew that I would take those things with me. And, because, we committed to this, the next commitment was to stay there for a length of time that made sense for the money that was put into it. Yes, it's a rental, but I do think that unless you're paying like a crazy amount in rent, most of the units seem to need something done, especially if you're kind of particular. There are several people that I know that are living in Central. Their places are really, really small. They're cute, they're nice, they're comfortable. Maybe it doesn't bother them. They're happy with it, and they're paying, less than that for rent. Maybe they're paying like 7,000 pesos a month. Where I am, you get more for your money, but then again, you need a car. So I think that that's where the compromise comes in. A little bit further out that you go, you can get a bigger space, and you can pay less. Now, the other part of paying less is if you get a place that's unfurnished. I know a lot of people don't want to deal with that, but to be honest with you, I would say if I had to do this over again, what would I do different? I wouldn't get a furnished unit. I got a furnished unit, then I decided I want to bring my things because I didn't like their stuff, but I like the place. I wouldn't do that again. I probably would just say, okay, let me get somewhere that I can deal with for 6 months, 4 to 6 months, and I would just stay there for 4 to 6 months or so. And then decide, am I moving my things, or maybe move into an unfurnished house if you know for sure, this is where I want to be, and go ahead and make the investment in some of the appliances. Because really that's the biggest drawback to me. It was, do I want to buy a refrigerator? Did I want to buy a washing machine and dryer combo? Initially, I didn't. I was just like, I don't want to deal with that because I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I'm going to like it. And here I am 5 years later. So when I moved last year, I bought those things. I was like, okay, here I am. And I paid to store some of the stuff from the furnished house in storage for 4 years. So I should have just bought the damn refrigerator and washing machine and dryer in the first place. So let's see. Do you recommend a Fire Stick? Yes, I do. Yeah, definitely get a Fire Stick. You can also, if you have a cable company in the United States and you get a VPN here, you can look that up. It just, if you don't know what that is, it helps you block where your URL is coming from. If you're in Mexico, sometimes, for example, I think it was AT&T Direct Stream or Direct TV or something when I first came here, and I was able to use my US cable. I still had to pay for it, but it was only like $40 a month at the time. This was pre-COVID. And I was able, and also it was bundled with my AT&T US plan. my cell plan. So, all of it together is still expensive, but as a whole, the cable part was inexpensive. And I was able to get in, I had to turn the VPN on, and some tech guy here came and set it all up for me. And I was able to watch US television. I have since given that up because the amount went up because I gave up my AT&T cell plan in the US, and I just didn't care. I don't watch TV that much. I sometimes watch Netflix, and that's it. You can also get Prime here, but Prime is smarter than the VPN through Amazon. Amazon just knows that you're in Mexico somehow. So the VPN doesn't work for a lot of the Prime movies that you would get in the United States. You can get some, or you can get a lot, but they're going to be licensed differently. Same with Netflix. You can get Netflix here. I think you can get Hulu, a bunch of things. Yeah, but I don't watch a lot of TV. So if you watch a lot of US television, that's to me the best way to get it. There used to be a website called Go US or US TV Go, where you could get all HBO and all this other stuff, but things like that kind of come and go. So yeah. Let's see. Do you recommend a first yes? What do you prefer? Test, what was your preferred price range? Oh, I lost your message. Hold on a second. I need to put my glasses on. Are you all drinking anything? I'm about to get a little sip of mine for a studio 1-bedroom. Okay, well, honestly, Tess with the studio. Hi, Kathy, how are you? Real quick with the studios and the 1-bedrooms. I mean, yeah, I know people who have little small 1-bedrooms, and they're not paying that much. They're paying like 6,000 pesos a month. That's like $300 US a month. And they're cute. They're little. The thing is you're not going to find that on or through a realtor. Realtors aren't going to waste a lot of time looking for rental units unless they feel like it's worth the money that they're going to earn. So these are places that you have to get out and go and look for them on your own, or ask someone word of mouth. I know several people that live on Orizaba or in San Antonio neighborhood that found places for less than 10,000 pesos a month. And they're nice, and they were furnished or semi-furnished. They're not going to be modern and new and fancy necessarily, but they're going to probably have a lot of charm and maybe need a little bit of work and some patience. So yeah, that's my 2 cents about that. Is it hilly? It's my life in San Francisco. I thought it was hilly. Yes, it's very hilly here. Sarah asked. Yes, it's very hilly here, and in rainy season, yes, it can be slick. Yeah, it's called the city of the fallen ladies because there are a lot of women who fall even with flats on. Yes, you can. Yes, Helen suggested a realtor for Querétaro. You can put that in the one that you used if you want to share that. Looking for a same size and community important. Would be a great landing spot. Yeah. Okay, it's not really a question. It's easy to take a bus. To be honest with you, it is pretty easy to take a bus from Mexico City. This was a question from Carla, but it all depends on where you are. If you're taking it from the airport, you can take a shuttle. Bahia Go will pick you up. And I forget the cost for a shared shuttle is maybe $130 US one way, but it's door to door. Like they will meet you as soon as you come out of customs. But if you're in the city and you're not at the airport, then there are multiple bus stations. It all just depends on where you are. And my experience in December with using the bus, I did a long road trip for those who haven't seen or heard of it. So I decided for Christmas, I wanted to go on the El Chepe train, which leaves out of Chihuahua. And I took a bus from Querétaro with my son to Chihuahua City, which was a 17-hour bus ride. And that's because it stops along the way, but the price was great. And what I learned about this whole trip, the whole trip was all about getting to the train, hanging out in Creole, doing this vintage train kind of experience. It was amazing. And, kind of making our way back, we stopped in Mazatlan on the beach. We spent a couple nights in Los Mochis, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I figured out, like, you can get to anywhere in Mexico by bus, anywhere, doesn't matter. Like in Querétaro, they didn't have a bus from Chihuahua City to Creole, which is a small town, but in Chihuahua City, a whole different bus company provides that service. And then there was another bus company from Los Mochis to Mazatlan, and it was called Tucefa. I had never heard of Tucefa, and it was nice. And they only service certain areas. So the point is that there are buses from Mexico City to Querétaro and to San Miguel if you wanted to take the bus. You just have to know where you're close to. Hola, Yolanda, was to open a bank account. No, it wasn't difficult to open a bank account. Usually there are people here, at least here is in San Miguel, that will speak English, and they will walk you through the process. When I opened a bank account, I was on a tourist visa. I don't know if you can still do that because that was in 2018. I think you have to have residency. What I will tell you is I have Banco, and I was just talking to someone about it today. Can't remember who. Oh, Dina. Yeah, Dina's staying at my guest house. Dina just got here. But the point is that what's I going to say about it? Oh, with Banco, what I liked about them, and the guy who shipped my things, he's Mexican, but he told me he gets a lot of people who give him checks for his work. And he basically said that Banco will let you deposit a US check. So that's what I do. I just, I have my US accounts, and then every month, I don't keep a lot of money in there. I just deposit a check to pay my bills here. And, it's online. I can do online transfers from my Mexican account to another Mexican account, or pay for different things, the same as you do in the US. The thing with Banco, I think it's a little, it's not as up to date as what we're used to. We're used to scanning and doing all these things. It's a little archaic in this regard. However, I liked that feature because I don't lose any money in fees. And usually, if the bank is open, there are no holidays in the US, and you bring your check in before a certain time, usually you can get the pesos in your account that same day. So I brought a check today at 3, and the pesos were in there by 4. So that feature is nice. And even though the check has not cleared in the United States, it will in about 2 or 3 days. So I hope that helps. And no, it wasn't difficult. Pilar, it's like that in Rome and Italy. Okay. Did you say you spent 10,000 to move? No, Sarah, I dwindled my house down in Florida to about it's 1 bedroom. And I say 1 bedroom because I only brought my 1 queen bed. I brought armoire. I'm talking big pieces. I had a lot of boxes of stuff, dishes and plates and just things. Like I said, I want to buy them again. I brought curtains. I brought a safe, my armoire, which was like heavy as heck. I still didn't even know why I brought that. I just was attached to it for some reason. I wouldn't do it again. But I still have it, and it's been a pain in my side. But now that it's here, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not giving it up now. It cost me a lot to get it here. It cost me a lot to get it in the house. The first house, they had to hoist it up over the balcony to the 3rd floor because they couldn't bring it up the stairs because they were too narrow. And then now it's in the guest house because it doesn't fit in the house, this house. So like that piece of furniture, I need to let go. It's weighing me down. But I would say that my shipping was like around 13 to 14,000 US dollars. And I just had like a lot of boxes. I had clothes, but I still had downsized to about what they called a 1 bedroom, but I still had a lot of things. I brought like carpet for the floors, my sofa set, shelving units. I brought coffee table, which I ended up selling when I got here because it just didn't fit. So, it's kind of a personal choice, but I knew that for me to get rid of all of that and start all over, my time and money, it would have been more. It would have cost more. I have other friends and clients and friends who shipped and they spent way more than I did, like 20 and upwards. So again, you just have to really think about it. Like, what do you really like? Do you want to spend this money because you're maybe going to long-term buy a house and you just really like your things and you don't want to start over? I love my sofa set. I didn't want to start over. I didn't want to look for another one. I probably would have found one just fine, but I didn't even know how or where to go. San Miguel is not a city that has these conveniences. Querétaro does. So if you want to go to a city where you can go to Costco's, furniture stores, Zara Home, H&M Home, Pottery Barn, all those stores are there, okay? All of that stuff exists in Querétaro. Querétaro's the bomb. You can go there and go shopping and they'll deliver it to San Miguel. I bought my washing machine and dryer from Costco's. I went to Home Depot and I bought my things for the guest house from there. I bought my furniture set at the guest house. I actually drove to Leon 2 hours and I found a set. They actually made stuff and then moved it. So the point is you can get the things you need if you have time. I really felt like I didn't want to deal with all of that in 2018 because everything was super new. But my advice is it's doable. There's places here that do a lot of like raw wood furniture and you can kind of style it how you want. Like the desk that my computer is on, it was a raw wood furniture and I had it painted kind of vintage. They do that at the place and it wasn't expensive. Maybe I don't remember. I'll say it's cost me 50 US dollars or so, maybe a little bit more. I don't remember. But you can get things like this at the Tuesday market. But if you want like a nice, comfortable chair or something like that to sit in, you're gonna have to pay for it. You want a nice dining table. You can get really nice wood things, but if you are into maybe more modern, things might look really pretty, but they're not always comfortable. I feel like the comfort isn't always at the same level that we're used to when you're looking in a certain price range. Now, if you just have lots and lots of, disposable money to go shopping for furniture, then yes, it's doable. Let's see, Kay. Hi, Kay. How are you? You're in Querétaro. Welcome. Is it expensive to ship? I'm not going to tell. I covered that, Lorraine, but honestly, like I said, I really think the best way that I made the decision was that I was here in advance. I came down twice and I looked at, my place and I was like, I don't really like their stuff. If you are going to ship, definitely get an unfurnished house. There are plenty of really beautiful consignment places here, but I just feel like, they're expensive, and not consignment's not for everyone. So you can get what you need if you have time to kind of look for it. I don't know if it's any cheaper once it's all said and done to redo the whole thing. Oh, Yolanda, hi. Yes, we have you on the list to come to the women's retreat in April here in San Miguel. We're doing a women's retreat. So if anyone's interested, you can check that out as well on thejourneyretreat.com or on Casa ELM. It's called Peace, Not Pieces. So having peace in your life, not being in pieces, it's something that I birthed that's very personal to me and based on my story, but I am really happy that I live here in this place that allows me to stay in balance with my purpose, and also keeps me cognizant of why I came to Mexico to, be in a very balanced, peaceful mindset with my child. So if you're interested in that, that's April 2nd through the 8th, and it will be hosted at Casa ELM. We have limited space. I believe it's only 4 spaces that we have available, or maybe 3 now, or 2. I can't remember. But there's info there about it. Let's see, $90 thank you. So happy you're coming, Yolanda. I forget who else signed up. $90 for Mexican hotel one way. Okay, yeah, that sounds about right, Sarah. And the buses that take you to. So yes, there are buses, but it depends, that will take you directly to San Miguel from Mexico City. It depends on which bus station you leave from as well. I don't think all bus stations provide buses directly to San Miguel, but most bus stations, I believe, I'm not sure, I've only done it a few times, in Mexico City will take you to Querétaro, because that's like a bigger bus station as well. And then from there are buses to San Miguel. So San Miguel is about an hour away from Querétaro by car or by bus, just in case you're wondering. And it's a small bus station. So once you're in the bus station, kind of check when you arrive, because if it's really, really late at night, you need to go from the bus station in San Miguel, say you're going out to Los Frailes or somewhere a little bit outside of Central, you may have a little bit of a challenge taking a taxi. So if you can arrive, like say before 9 o'clock, to make sure that you have a taxi to get you there. There are taxis at the bus station, but it all depends on where you go. Okay, Dixie said she can't wait to do that trip. Are you talking about the train, I guess? Helen, yeah, used Fanny, the owner of. Okay, yeah, if you put her name in the chat, Helen, and Fanny is someone that helped Helen, and Helen was in San Miguel when she first came. She stayed at Casa ELM, thank you, and now she lives in Querétaro, and she has a realtor that she used that I know she was very happy with. Let's see, 45 minutes, yeah. Okay, okay, you're putting that in. How long does it take to get to Ajijic? I think it takes, I want to say it's like about 4 hours to get to Ajijic and Lake Chapala area from San Miguel. I haven't been there. Lake Chapala was one of the places that I looked at in terms of where to move to. It was on my list, and that was based on recommendations, but I haven't been there because I kind of nixed it, mostly because it didn't have the family demographics that I was looking for, because my son was only 6 at that point, and I really wanted to have just more family stuff. So I haven't been there yet. I've heard great things about it. So it is on my list of places that I will get to eventually. So yeah. Yes, Dixie, you have to take that train ride. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit briefly about that, and then I'll get to your question, Carla. Welcome. Creole blew my mind. So this train, El Chepe, is E-L and then Chepe, C-H-E-P-E. When I first heard about it, I thought they were saying like the cheap train, but that's just the name of El Chepe Express, right? And this train ride goes through Copper Canyon, which is in northern Mexico in the state of Chihuahua, and then it goes down. So there's 2 it goes from one end to another. So the route we took was from Creole, Chihuahua, down to Los Mochis in Sinaloa. And it was just incredible, like absolutely blew my mind. And I've been to the Grand Canyon, I've seen the Swiss Alps, I've been to some really, really beautiful places. But I think a part of the mind-blowing process was that I didn't expect it. I knew the train ride was going to be amazing, but I arrived in Creole, which was like a little strip of a Western town. And I remember when the bus pulled up and I was like, where's our, I remember this guy was just like, do you need a taxi? And I was kind of avoiding answering him because I was trying to figure out like, where do we go from here? We just got dumped. And it was just like, I don't know. It just, the initial reaction was, I was kind of like, oh, this is where we're here for 2 more days. And anyway, all I knew was where I was staying and that the train was leaving on Tuesday, and I got there Sunday afternoon. So on Sunday night, we checked in our afternoon, got all our stuff together, and I started looking at some of the flyers in the hotel, and it was cold. It was cold. It was like in the 20s, like Fahrenheit. It was just cold. And I knew it was going to be cold. I packed for all of it. So long story short, we get there. And, I didn't want to leave the room. The heat came, they were like, yeah, we have a mini split. It goes as high as 30 Celsius, which is great. And I turned it on. It was nice and cozy. We were tired after being on the bus for, all that time. And then we stayed one night, the night before we stayed in Chihuahua City, which was very, very beautiful. And then we left that Sunday morning and got to Creole. So in the morning, the afternoon, I told the lady, I want to go on this 1-hour hike in the morning. And then I get in the room and I start digging a little bit and I realize, oh, this is where they have this cable car ride across the canyon. It's just called Barrancas de Cobre. And I was just like, oh, okay, this is right. Like, this is here in this town. I saw the cable car ride, but I didn't know it was in that town. So I asked them about it and they arranged for us after we did the 1-hour hike, like uphill hike. And I just see like this amazing like landscape and the mouth of the canyon. That's what Barrancas de Cobra means, is the mouth of where the 3 canyons meet. And can I just tell you, it was just breathtaking, like, just absolutely breathtaking. I can't even express it any more than that. So I did this tour and this guy took us around for a little while, and basically, we did this cable car ride that was about 15 minutes, I think, or something like that, even in one direction. It was just vast and breathtaking. That's all I can say. And then we did the train, which was even more amazing. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. It's worth every hassle to get there. And you can fly. So by the way, you don't have to do the bus. You can fly from Querétaro or Mexico City or anywhere else to the city of Chihuahua. And then from there, the only way to get to this town is to drive or take a bus or get a driver. And that's about 5 or 6 hours. And the bus ride was about 5 or 6 hours for me and Micah. It was like $25 US, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm done with the buses for now. Is it easy to find a tutor for Spanish? Yes, you can look on any of the Facebook pages for San Miguel, and there are tutors and schools, and yeah, and they should all cost approximately 10 to 15 US an hour, more or less, maybe a little bit less. Yeah, so you can look into that. Lake Chapala, yes, a beautiful lake. We came from Chapala, Credo, is 4 hours. Yep. Danita, greetings, Polly's wait, that's okay. Hi, Shrees. Welcome. Yes. So that's it, I guess. I think I answered everyone's question. If you have any more questions, please let me know. But I am pretty much at my live time. I'm going to be back again next Wednesday, same time at 7. If anyone has any questions. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Yes, I was on HGTV a couple years ago. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, I just kind of did it. I didn't expect that, I would be kind of helping people in this capacity that are interested in moving to San Miguel, but I'm very happy and grateful to be here and to be able to help you all. Thank you. I actually bought this in Florida a long time ago, probably 12 years ago. So I still have it today. I was just like, oh, let me find something interesting that works from here up. So thank you. Anyway, if you have any other questions, please be here again next week on Wednesday. I'll be doing this live. And yes, again, I'm going to bring some wines. I didn't drink as much as I would like to, but I am going to after this. I was talking a lot. And if you all want any, kind of things that you want to see on my channel, right now I'm doing the Untold Stories, which is just kind of the day-to-day things that I run into that you probably wouldn't even know until you get here and then you figure it out. It can be frustrating and overwhelming, especially if it all starts happening at the same time. So I'm definitely here to share that with you all. Yes, Elizabeth, for sure. I think it's important for us to see that it's normal for us to enjoy these things, live abroad. And, that was always my intention, is showing life from our lens, from a Black lens, for those that it applies to. And, that we're here, that's what we're here to create, that experience that makes it a little bit smoother, easier. Now, is it for everyone in the end? Not always. Or maybe you come and you leave and you have to try some other things on. But, this is how I feel about it. And I'm so happy to share it with all of you for sure. Yeah. So yes, I'm grateful for all of you as well. So that's it. I'm going to sign off. I'll be back next Wednesday. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to share this with others that might be interested in Mexico. Even though I live in San Miguel, we try to cover other things in Mexico that we know about. And I say we as in me and any other guest I might have. So thank you. Thanks, Jackie. Thanks for being here. Bye, Dixie. Have a good night, everyone. Oh, you're welcome. No problem. Bye.